Here are the solutions to Edexcel's practice test set for paper 1H. Question 1. Write these numbers in order of size, starting with the smallest. If we evaluate each of these, 2 to the power of 5, which means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 32. 64 to the power of a half. When you've got a fraction as an indice, the bottom number is the root that you take. So that means find the square root of 64. So that would be 8. 4 cubed means 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. 8 to the power of a third means find the cube root of 8, which is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 16 is just got no power. It's actually got a power of 1 now, which would mean it's 16. And then the final number is 64 to the power of 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. So to put these in order of size, you would have 64 to the power of 0, which is 1. 8 to the power of a third, which is 2. 64 to the power of a half, which is 8. 16, 2 to the power of 5, which is 32. And 4 cubed, which is 64. Question 2. There are 50 counters in a bag. The counters are blue, yellow, black or white. A counter is taken at random from the bag and the table shows the probability of each counter. Work out the number of yellows in the bag. Well, the first thing we need to do is work out the probability of getting a yellow. So the probability is set up to a whole one. If we add the rest of the probabilities together, take that away from a whole one, then that will give us 1 take away 0.86, which means probability of getting a yellow is 0.14. Now, 0.14 times 50, because there are 50 counters in the bag. The best way to do this is to times by 10 first, and then times by 5. So, timesing by 10 would give you 1.4. 5 times 1.4 would be 7. Question 3. Buses to Acton leave every 24 minutes. Buses to Barton leave every 20 minutes. The bus to Acton and the bus to Barton both leave at 9 AM. What's the next time they leave together? So if we do the lowest common multiple of each of these, basically we need to do times tables of 24. So 24, 48, 72, 96, 120, 144, and so on. And if we do the multiples of 20, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, and so on, we can see that 120 minutes is the lowest common multiple. Now 120 minutes is equal to 2 hours. So from 9 AM, we want to add 2 hours to that. That will get us at 11 AM. Question 4. Here's a trapezium and the area of the trapezium is 18 centimeters squared. Calculate the perimeter. Now some of these are in algebra, so we need to first of all use the algebra to work out the value of x. We can work out the lengths of all the sides. Now find the area of trapezium, do the top and the bottom, divided by 2, multiplied by the height. So in this case, that would be 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 3, all divided by 2, times by 4. Okay? And we are told that that is equal to 80. If we add these up, we actually get 4x over 2 times 4 equals 80. Okay? 4x divided by 2, 2x times 4, and 2x times 4 is 8x. So 8x will be equal to 18. To work out the value of x, we just do 18 divided by 8. Okay, you can leave that as a fraction if you wanted to, but that would be 2 and 2 eighths. 2 eighths is 7 1/4, so that would be 2.25. Okay, so x is 2.25. We then need to substitute that into the values. So 2 times 2.25 is 4.5. Take away 3, 1.5. And then 2 times 2.25 is 4.5. Add 3 would be 7.5. So if we add all those up to find the actual perimeter, we'll be doing 1.5 plus 5 plus 7.5 plus 5 again. Okay, and that all adds up to 19 centimeters. Next question. The normal price of a television is reduced by 30% in a sale. Sale price is £350. Work out the normal price. Well, if this was a calculator paper, I would be saying the original price was X, and you would multiply that by 0.7, because 0.7 is basically 30% off 100%, or 70%, which is a decimal of 0.7, and that would give us 350. Okay. To work out x, we would do 350 divided by 0.7. So to do that, I would change that to 3,500 divided by 7, which is basically times the top and bottom by 10 gives an equivalent fraction, and that would give us £500. Now, a slightly easier way to do this would be to say that 70% is £350. If we divide that by 7, that means that 10% would be £50, and if we times that by 10, that would mean 100% would be £500. But this method would help us in the calculator. Either or would be fine. Question 6. Estimate the value of 6.8 times 191 divided by 0.051. When we are estimating, we need to round everything to one significant figure. So 6.8 will become 7, 191 will become 200, and 0.051 will become 0.05. If we work out the top first, 7 times 200 is 1,400 divided by 0.05. Okay. To do that, again, I would multiply top and bottom by 100 to get rid of the decimal on the bottom. So that would be 140,000 divided by 5. And again, a good way of doing that, instead of dividing by 5, would be to double the top to get 280,000 and double the bottom to get 10. Just makes things a little bit easier. So therefore, that would be 280,000, 28,000. Question 7. The diagram shows the cross-section of a solid prism. A prism is a 3D shape, so there's actually depth to this shape, it's just not been drawn on. The length of the prism is 2 meters. Now if you notice, all of the other dimensions are in centimeters. The first thing I'm going to do is write that as 200 centimeters. The prism is made from metal, and the density of the metal is 8 grams per centimeter cubed. So we want to work out the volume of this in centimeters cubed, so that we can multiply that by 8 to work out the total mass of the prism. The first thing we need to do to work out the volume of a prism is work out the area of the cross-section, which is the area of this front shape. Now, if this side length here is 7, and this is 2, that means that this must be 5. The area of this bit is 2 times 5, 10, and this bit would be 2 times 7, which is 14. So the area of the front, altogether, 24 centimeters squared. The depth of this prism is 200 centimeters, so we need to multiply that by 200 centimeters to get the total volume of this prism, which will be 4,800 centimeters cubed. Now we've got the volume. To work out the mass, we do the density times the volume. We need to do 8 times 4,800. Okay, you could do that using the grid method or whichever method you prefer, but that will give us 38,400 grams. Okay, question 8. The diagram shows a straight line L1 drawn on a grid. The straight line L2 is parallel to L1 and passes through 0, minus 5. Find the equation of L2. Well, 0 minus 5 gives us the y-intercept of L2, because this is with a 0 x coordinate, that would mean the y coordinate would be minus 5 because of the y-axis at minus 5. So using y equals mx plus c, we know that c must be minus 5. We just need to work out m. M is the gradient of the line. If it is parallel to L1, it will have the same gradient as L1. We work out the gradient of L1, and that will give us the gradient of L2 also. So I always choose a point where it crosses some lines. So here, you can see that the height of this triangle is 2, and the width of this triangle is 4. To work out the gradient, you do the change in y divided by the change in x. So that's 2 divided by 4, which is 0.5 or a half. So the equation of our line will be 0.5x, the gradient is 0.5, minus 5, because the y-intercept is minus 5. Question 9. The Venn diagram shows numbers 1 to 11. Work out P brackets AUB. This means the probability of the union of A and B. The union of A and B is all the numbers that are in A and B. If we count up how many numbers are in A and B, that is all the B's. Okay? So there are 8 numbers out of the 11. So the probability of getting a number that is in A and B is 8 out of 11. Probability of B dash means all the numbers not in B. So the numbers that aren't in B are 1, 3, 11, 6, 4, 7, and 8. That means there are 7 numbers out of the 11, so the probability will be 7 out of 11. Question 10. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle P onto triangle Q. Well, we can see here that it's a reflection, and the mirror line is straight down the middle there. So the first mark is for writing reflection, and the second mark is for writing the mirror line. And the mirror line must be given as an equation. So the equation of the mirror line is x equals 5, because it crosses the x-axis at 5. Part B, enlarge rectangle R with a scale factor of 3 with centre 4, 0. So first of all, the centre of enlargement is there at 4, 0. To do a scale factor of 3, we choose any corner and see how far away it is. In this case, it is 1 across and 1 up. To find the new corner, it will be 3 times the distance. So 3 across and 3 up. The new bottom left corner will be there. From there, you can do the same for each corner, or you can just draw it in 3 times bigger now. So it was 1 up before, so it will go 3 up. It was 2 across before, so it will go 6 across. And there would be our new shape. Shape S can be transformed to shape T by a translation of 0 minus 3 followed by a rotation. Describe the rotation. Well, the first thing we want to do is translate the shape by the vector 0 minus 3. The top number is left and right, and the bottom number is up and down. So basically the shape has moved 3 down. And if we draw that in exactly how it was, it will go to there. So that's where it would be translated to. From there, you can either use tracing paper or do it by eye, but the centre of rotation will be there, and it will be going 90 degrees clockwise. So describe the rotation. First, we would write rotation 90 degrees clockwise about 0, 0, or the origin. Next question. The lines y equals x minus 2 and x plus y equals 10 are drawn on the grid. On the grid, mark with a cross each of the points with integer coordinates that are in the defined region. So, we want all the points where y is greater than x minus 2. The line x minus 2 is this one, and y will be greater above that line. For the next one, we want it where x plus y is less than 10. So all the points below this line will have values where the x coordinate and the y coordinate are less than 10. It then says where x is greater than 3. So if we draw our line in for x is 3, then x has to be greater than 3. So the region that satisfies all of these is in here. But it actually asks us to mark with a cross the points where we have integer coordinates. Now integers means whole numbers. So the whole number coordinates are where it crosses inside the shape, and there are 4 of those points. So at 4, 3, at 4, 4, at 4, 5, and at 5, 4. Question 12. Harry travels from Appleton to Brockley at an average speed of 50 miles per hour. He then travels from Brockley to Canton at an average speed of 70. Harry takes a total of 5 hours to get from Appleton to Canton. The distance from Brockley to Canton is 210 miles. Calculate Harry's average speed for the total distance. Well, if we do this on a number line, so if we do it a bit more visually, okay, to get from A to B, we did that at 50 miles per hour. And then to get from B to C, we did that at 70 miles per hour. The distance from Brockley to Canton is 210 miles. We can use the information from Brockley to Canton to work out the time it took. So to work out the time it took, time is equal to distance divided by speed. That's 210 divided by 70, which would be 3 hours. So it took 3 hours to get from Brockley to Camden. That means that it must have taken 2 hours to get from Appleton to Brockley. Now we know the time to get from Appleton to Brockley. If he did it at 50 miles per hour and 2 lots at 50, means that must be 100 miles from Appleton to Brockley. In the total distance is 310 miles. He did that in 5 hours. So to work out the speed, or the average speed, we do 310 divided by 5, which would be 62 miles per hour. Question 13. A, B, C, and D are points on the circumference of a circle with centre O. Angle ABC is 116 degrees. Find the size of angle marked X, given reasons for your answer. Well, at the moment, X is linked to ADC because we know that the angle at the centre is always double the angle at the circumference. We don't know ADC yet, but we can use ABC to work that out. ABCD is a cyclic quadrilateral, and opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. If we do 180, take away 116, we know that ADC is 64. I'm going to mark that on our diagram as well. If ADC is 64, then X will be 2 lots of 64, which is 128 degrees. Now, it does ask for reasons, so I would always write that straight after what you've done. So, because opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. Then the final one is the angle at the centre is twice the angle at the centre. Question 14. It says the nth term of quadratic sequence is n squared plus 3n minus 2. Write down the 4th term of this sequence. So to work out the 4th term, we just put n equals 4 into that n term rule. So that would mean we do 4 squared plus 3 times 4 and take away 2. 4 squared is 16, 3 times 4 is 12 and take away 2. 16 and 12 is 28, take away 2, 26. Here's a different sequence, and we're going to find the nth term rule of this. So if I write out my sequence again so we've got a bit of space. To find the nth term rule of a quadratic sequence, find the second difference. That goes up by 6, then by 10, then by 14, and then by 18. If you look at the second difference, it goes up by 4 each time. Once you've got the second difference, we know that we half that to find how many n squared will be our nth term rule. So we will have 2n squared in our rule. We then need to write out the 2n squared sequence. So 1 squared is 1, times 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4, times 2 is 8. 3 squared is 9, times 2 is 18. 4 squared is 16, times 2 is 32. And 5 squared is 25, times 2 is 50. We then want to take the sequence we've just written away from our original sequence. So we are going to do 1 take away 2, minus 1. 7 take away 8, minus 1. 17 take away 18, minus 1, minus 1, and minus 1. Because those numbers are constant, that means our sequence will just be 2n squared minus 1. If this gave us another sequence, then we would work out the nth term rule of that linear sequence and add that to the end of 2n squared. So it's a constant, so it's just minus 1. Question 15. Visa has 10 coins in a bag. There are 3 £1 coins and 7 pence pieces. Visa takes at random 3 coins from the bag. Work out probability that she takes exactly £2.50. Now, the best way to do this one, if you had the space, would be to do it in a tree diagram. Because there will be 3 sets of branches, it's probably better just to figure out the different probabilities, the different ways of doing it. So we could get £1 first, £1 second, then 50p third. We could get pound first, then 50p, then a pound again. Or we could get 50p first, then a pound, then a pound. So, probability of getting a pound first would be 3 out of 10, because there are 3 coins out of 10 altogether, there are a pound. Once you've removed one of those, you would only have 2 pound coins left, there'll be 9 coins in the bag. So the next probability will be 2 9s. Then the probability of getting the last 50p, there are still 7 50p's, but there are only 8 coins in the bag. If we multiply all those together, we get 42 out of 720. To get a pound first again, it will be 3 out of 10. To get a 50p second, there are still 7 50p's in the bag, but only 9 coins. And then the final pound, there will be 2 pound coins left out of 8 coins. And that again gives us 42 out of 720. The final way to get 50p first would be 7 50p's out of 10, sorry. We would then multiply that by 3 pound coins out of 9 coins left, and 2 pound coins out of 8 coins left. Again, it's 42 out of 720. Because we're not bothered which way we do this, we add those together. So if we add those together, we get 126 out of 720. And to cancel that down, that will get down to 7 out of 40. Question 16. M is directly proportional to L cubed. When L is 2, M is 160. Find the value of M when L is 3. So, M is directly proportional to L cubed. We then need to work out the constant of proportionality, so K. So we put K into the formula, and we can work that out. If M is 160, then when L is 2, we do 160 equals K times 2 cubed. 2 cubed is 8, so we need to do 160 divided by 8 to work out K. So K is 20. Our formula, therefore, is M equals 20 L cubed. If L is 3, to work out M, we do 20 times 3 cubed. 3 cubed is 27, we do 20 times 27, which would be 540. Question 17. Solve x minus 1 squared minus 2 brackets x minus 1 minus 3 equals 0. Well, if we expand the first brackets, we would get x squared minus 2x plus 1. Expand the second set of brackets, we'll get minus 2x plus 2. And then you've got the minus 3 on the end equals 0. If we collect all the terms together, we'll just get x squared minus 4x, and that would equal to 0. Now to factorise that, we don't need to go into 2 brackets, we can just put a factor of x out. That would be x brackets, x minus 4 equals 0. To make the left hand side 0, x will either have to be 0, or it could be 4 to make the bracket 0. So our values are x is 0 or x is 4. Question 18. OACD is a trapezium made from 3 equilateral triangles. Now that's really important because it tells us more of the sides will be vectors. M is the midpoint of CD, and OA is A and OB is B. Work out AB. So we want to get from A to B. To do that, we have to go down vectors that we already know. So we would go down here, which would be a minus A, then along here, which would be a plus B, following the arrows on the vectors. We want to show that OC is parallel to BM. Now, if I write everything that we know here to make it a little easier, that is minus A to B. This one up here will be B, going that way. This one will be A, because they are the same as the other two that we've got. And this one would also be B. We want to work out how to get from O to C. To get from O to C, you would go along an A, going back up here, and then along a B, get back over here. So that would be A plus B. To get from B to M, we need to go along an A, so up here, and then we need to go down this one, but only halfway. Now going down there will be the same as this one. So it would be plus a half of minus A plus B. If we expand that out, we would get A minus a half A plus a half B. And if we simplify that, we would get a half A plus a half B. That shows us that if we factorise that, we get a half of A plus B. So we can see that OC is A plus B, BM is a half of A plus B, therefore they're parallel because BM will just be half the length of OC. So BM parallel to OC. Question 19. Prove algebraically that the sum of two consecutive squared numbers is always an odd number. So x and x plus 1 would be consecutive numbers. If we're going to square these and add them together, then we would write it like that. We then just simply need to expand these. So x plus 1 squared would expand out to x squared plus 2x plus 1. If we simplify that down, we get 2x squared plus 2x plus 1. Prove that this would be an odd number. 2x squared is a multiple of 2, so that would be even. 2x would be also even because it's a multiple of 2. And then plus an odd number would always make it an odd. Okay, question 20. Given that 8 minus root 18 over root 2 equals a plus b root 2, where a and b are integers, find the value of a and b. Now this sounds really complicated, but it is simply rationalising the denominator. So if we write down the first fraction, we rationalise the denominator times top and bottom by root 2. Not forgetting that everything on the top is multiplied by root 2. So this will expand to 8 root 2 minus root 18 times root 2 all over root 2 times root 2. Now there's a few little tricks here. 8 root 2 we can't do anything with, but root 18 times root 2 is root 36, and root 2 times root 2 is just 2. If we simplify that down, we have 8 root 2, and the square root of 36 is just 6 over 2. To divide both these by 2, we'll just get 4 root 2 minus 3. That means that the value of b is 4 and the value of a is minus